Well, welcome back to the future home of Cottage Farmstead. I'm Rebecca and this is Nathan. And we're here today, first off, fixing our walkometer, or walking tape measure, whatever you want to call it, as we're going to measure off some of our road frontage, as we do eventually want to plant some trees there, and we want to get an idea of how many trees it might take to cover the road frontage, as we want to have a little bit more privacy, especially during the high summer season. We're near 2 different boat ramps, so it can get a little noisy as a lot of boat trailers are bustling along the country road here. So we had some extra stakes, and the 2 right here in the foreground that you see are approximately where our driveway is going to run. And Nathan just drove one in over there. That's going to be where our driveway curves around along the tree line. And what we're trying to do today is get a kind of idea of our residential lot, because we're going to have to survey off a portion of our farm and zone it as residential for our house. So we're kind of getting an idea of what size it is. Also, I hadn't thought about this section here. It doesn't be behind our back porch. What sort of landscaping do I want there? This is going to be one of the few places that'll have shade. So I might be able to bring my hydrangea bush that we've had for several years over with me. I wasn't sure if I'd be able to bring it because we're going to be a full sun southern exposure. And I think that would probably die off here in our southern climate, but we might be able to move it back here and enjoy it on our back porch. So Nathan is driving into the site of our future carport area to help give us an idea of, are we gonna fit in the carport?
Might want it a bit deeper.
Using all of these stakes in our car is just trying to help us visualize where things are gonna be, because it's really hard on something so vast as this to understand the scale of what we're working with. So it's not easy for our eyes to estimate it because we're not used to so much open space. So this is just kind of helping us figure out, does our car actually fit on the carport we designed or not? And figuring out, there's extra space over here that we hadn't even accounted for. So right now we're at where our front door is going to be eventually, and what I would like to have is walking out on the front porch here, go down a couple steps, and have an English style raised bed garden. There's a couple terraces to the land, so I want to kind of make use of this upper terrace, our front yard as it were, and make this into our vegetable gardens. So having our tomatoes, our peppers and squash and lettuce and greens and herbs all right here, because our kitchen is going to be right in our front door, so it'll be really convenient to take them inside. So we're going to get some measurements today to get an idea of what our front yard size is going to be, so that I can start planning where I want beds. We're going to get on chip drops so that we can start getting wood chips out here, so we can start making good dirt on top of this grass. So I know I want the main kitchen garden right there off the front door, because the kitchen is going to be right here. And one thing we're trying to determine is, do we want to have a sharp angle and cutting straight back to the driveway? Do we want it a little bit less sharp and maybe we put some fruit trees in here? Or do we have the fruit trees outside of our fenced area? So we're just kind of walking around imagining what we want.
With the common English garden, they like to work with squares, just in terms of, we would have a path that goes this way, a path that comes from all sides, and you're creating an access point. And then in the center, you have some sort of a feature, and that is the intersection point. So whatever the size of the house is, in terms of the width, that is also how deep that garden would likely be. We can make it more rectangular, but square can be more aesthetically pleasing, so that's another thing that we just had to stake out and brainstorm about. I guess from here we could almost segment this with additional paths.
Potentially. I mean, I could... do I want to do it mandala style with having all the spokes, or
so
do I want to do it
out on an angle then?
Or do I want it super square like a classic English garden, or there's the different shapes too from colonial gardens as well. So many options.
It's wonderful.
Obviously, what we're doodling and planning here, all this could totally change by the time that we start drawing it out, when we start getting the house in. So this is mostly just so we can start planning how much mulch we might need to get on site. Do we need to have some of the dirt that they're excavating for our basement shifted around to where we might want our gardens? So there's different things that we're keeping in mind.
What was that? I took a piece out of my, look, you can see the 2 bite marks.
Grasshopper bit you? So obviously you can see that we keep changing our plans, keep changing where we want the angle to be. So we're really just in the planning stages. We thought we'd show that like you don't have to have it all figured out right away. It's just start coming out here, marking, pacing things out, getting an idea what space we have to work with so that we can start planning and dreaming with real numbers. So we hope you enjoyed seeing some of what we do while we're out here planning. None of this is set in stone. This is mostly dreaming and planning stages. But it helps us get an idea of what our future home is going to look like. How many garden beds do we think we're going to need if we want to be self-sufficient, say, on our vegetables like tomatoes and peppers and things of that ilk? How do we want to lay out our beds? That sort of thing. So if you enjoyed this video and would like to see more, we're going to be out here quite a bit over the next few months as we close on the land in about 2 weeks. So subscribe. Yeah, we're really excited. So be sure to subscribe if you want to see more of what it takes to turn a raw piece of land into your dream homestead. Catch you next time.